you can speak to this. If a image isn't or a video or some post about my game's development doesn't do well on social media, it doesn't get traction, I actually conclude that the game won't get traction either. So a good test case is if your images and your videos that you're posting on social media aren't getting good traction, it means that you need to refocus on getting that hook for the game, whether it's the graphics or the mechanics, and just twist and keep making tweaks as you're posting on social media. If profitability is the goal, right? If profitability is not the goal, then make your game and have fun. But if profitability is one of your primary goals, then you should use social media as almost like the alpha test, right? To see, is this game marketable, right? And by the way, just because something's marketable doesn't make it a good game. But marketability is kind of the first barrier you have to cross over before actually releasing your game, because you need to figure out, is this going to be marketable? And if it's not, if for some reason it's not getting traction, I need to figure out why and then refocus. Have you ever had that experience?
I mean, I think what you've just said is very, very clever, and I 100% agree. It's such a big pitfall if you just make a game that is not very marketable.
Right.
And then at the end you figure out, okay, either I cannot market this, or I have to spend like 100x the amount of time on marketing compared to other developers to make up for it. It's not good. So I think what you said, that you like try out the marketability of your game early on, is very, very smart. I wish I would have done this a little more as well. I mean, if you kind of have an audience, it's a little harder because they just like everything you do. Oftentimes.
Well, that's I've totally found that to be true. And when my thinking is, look for growth. Here's a good metric. If you're getting growth on specifically like Twitter or Instagram, and it's people who like your game, that's a good indicator, as opposed to no growth but just a lot of comments and likes. Comments and likes are like, well, those are just from your current fans. But what about, are you getting growth? Like, are you getting new followers, right? Because that means the algorithm is pushing your content because it's getting good engagement, right? Which, by the way, I'm not saying this happens with me. I'm trying to figure it out. And what I've found is, this is so funny, with Father, my current first person shooter game, the one I had a pixelated retro style, and I actually really preferred this style. I liked this style. It looks like a PlayStation game. It didn't get a lot of traction. I hired a 3D modeler, and he repurposed all the graphics to look more kind of like, it almost looks like if Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and Half-Life had a baby. That's what the style looks like. It's kind of toony, but like serious. Then all of a sudden the traction went up. And I was like, so if the traction on social media is going up, that means that this thing is way more marketable than it was. Even though the comments are saying, a lot of comments are like, Thomas, I missed the PlayStation style. In my head, as a businessman, I ignore those because I'm like, well, the traction's up. So, sorry.
Yeah.
You know?